thank you so much for being proactive and ordering this audit. I understand.
It's very difficult to determine where MERS sits. It's usually as a beneficiary.
The question is, what are we going to do about it? Will you please have Ms. McDonnell come in, be transparent, do this audit publicly?
We're going to schedule a time for Ms. McDonnell to come here to present. And also, I'd like to know from each of you, since the forum 2 years ago, what do we have now? What has happened concretely to help the homeowners and to help fraud? Because it's not just about MERS. I'll give you one quick example. I'm trying to sell a second mortgage for a family right now. Wells Fargo presented not one, but 2 different launches. One in blank, one signed directly to the alleged receiving entity, okay?
Why I think that this report is going to create a problem.
Oh, it's definitely going to create a problem. You got that right.
You know, the brute power play of these institutions. No, they need to come down. They are not serving humanity. I have been enormously frustrated by this whole process, which is obviously become very political.
Oh, yeah.
I like the fact that you want to call it an audit.
Okay.
We were instructed to take the word audit out of all of our reports.
Oh.
The city council was in recess end of August.
Right.
Meantime, the Trujillo decision comes down, and that's why I decided to update the report for September the 8th. But still, even so, the idea was I delivered on the 8th, city council's back in session, why isn't it being delivered?
Right.
Like I say, if it were not for what you did last week, this would not be disclosed tomorrow, I'm sure of it.
I want to focus on the improper indexing with respect to MERS. Let's go. Yeah. And so, does that appear in the final version? And in the
No, it is an outside letter.
And where will that?
Well, I mean, actually, yeah, we, I mention it. I do talk about it in my report.
Okay.
And Fred talks about it in Appendix 3.
Right.
Okay. However, there's more.
Okay, so how would how does that materially affect then the report? And so what asterisk is it that I need to be putting out there for people to understand when it comes to that?
What would be really good, is for us to have this conversation while both of us are sitting in front of my report.
Yes.
All right. And so maybe this is a conversation we should have after disclosure comes tomorrow, because I've been trying to be a professional
and not
to cooperate
with them.
With the city auditor's office and not preempt disclosure because my client is the city of Seattle.
I respect that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I have been enormously frustrated by this whole process, which is obviously become very political.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. And since I'm really not a political being, it's just been a little bit hard for me to tolerate, frankly.
Oh, no, I know.
Part of my contract was that I would present to the city council.
Right.
That no date has been set. There should be a date.
Right.
I should get out there. I should be, I should be made available to answer questions, explain my findings and the impact and what I believe can be done to correct the situation. If my recommendations are followed, the MERS issue goes away in the state of Washington.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's what I said instead. I said, and she looks forward to a public PowerPoint presentation by her and her partners before City Council, as per her contract.
Yeah, there you go.
Now that the report is being made public, we need to schedule that before Election Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can get behind that.
Meanwhile, can we agree that Ms. McDonnell needs to come in here and present this in an open forum to City Council? It's important.
Yeah, the whole council.
The whole council. Right. A special meeting needs to be convened to do this, because why waste the money? Why do this to sit there and let it fall on the ground? Like Shama Sawant said in the video, we can't sit by and be idle and become complacent. Well, you said that, counselor, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I've given some really substantive action steps that absolutely can be taken without, that much of a headache.
Yeah.
And my audit justifies it. And by the way, the audit, well, here's the other thing.
Uh-huh.
I like the fact that you want to call it an audit.
Okay.
We were instructed to take the word audit out of all of our reports.
Oh.
Yes, it's supposed to be the City of Seattle review of mortgage documents.
Okay.
Okay? However, we have audited those documents. And
Yeah.
we have a technology platform filled with a tremendous amount of records. My technology partner has like 20,000 rules he ran based on my specifications. We can tell you who ordered these documents, where they were returned to, who signed them, who they work for in a lot of cases, whether, the assignment was to the servicer or to the alleged holder. We determined in none of those assignments could we be confident, that it was assigned to the beneficiary.
I know. And it's one of those things that I never had an idea. When I was, an escrow attorney 10 years ago, I had no idea. Yeah. It seemed to me, I was like, oh, MERS, how convenient. This sold me a bill of goods. I never really thought twice about it. I was like, okay, they're electronically registered. But I didn't realize that they would be moving things electronically without paying the requisite fees. Number one.
Yeah, that's only the start of it.
The start of it.
That's only the start of it.
Right.
I mean, I'm getting letters these days in response to requests for information that we send out on behalf of our clients, where the tall building law firms are refusing to give us MERS min summaries and milestones reports, and they're calling those hearsay. Oh, really? So what's in the MERS database that gives you the right to go and, physically record documents when the whole database is hearsay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. It's lies built on lies on top of lies, basically.
That's right, and they can't stand the light of truth, which is why, why I think that this report is going to create a problem.
Oh, it's definitely going to create a problem. You got that right.
I want it to facilitate public debate on whether or not it's tolerable in a civilized society to have the playing field vertical and stacked against the consumer. And, can we tolerate, the deception, the lack of transparency, the brute power play of these institutions? No, they need to come down. They are not serving humanity.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And that's exactly right. And one of the questions that they are getting into me about is not just my mortgage stuff, but like, what's my whole trip, my whole background? What is my background? Why do I do what I do? And it's just like, I can't help it because my dad was a precinct committeeman years ago. We were involved in minor politics. I've worked on some campaigns over the years. But I was a civil rights attorney. And so, yeah. So I got suspended for a year a long time ago because I pissed off the wrong people. And I'm never private about that. It's on my website. I've discussed it at length what really happened and everything that sits there. But it's like, that's always going to be in me. That's my DNA, is that I'm going to look for the truth and I'm going to expose corruption. I've always hated people who were full of shit. And I just, you know, if my mouth gets me in trouble as an attorney, well, guess what? You can't stop me as a journalist. I'm going to say whatever I want to.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
This is no social crisis, just another tricky day for you, fella. Just another tricky day for you.
People that want to pay to stay in their homes, and their homes are being taken from them. Do something about it. People are starting to get really pissed off.